This postcard is from Sean Henry. Epilogue. It was in the reign of George III that the aforesaid personages lived and quarreled. Good or bad, handsome or ugly, rich or poor, they are all equal now. Think that might be from Barry Lyndon? Because, Sean writes, I know you, at least Matt, admire Kubrick's works. Do you have a favorite? My favorite is not Barry Lyndon, though I do like that movie.
Favorite Kubrick?
Probably 2001.
I'd say Strangelove.
Dr. Strangelove. You said that in a weird way. You said Strange Love. And I thought, I don't know what that movie is.
You've never seen Strangelove? It was outtakes from Eyes Wide Shut.
That's got to be a close second.
I have a confession to make.
What's
I have never made it awake through 2001 in its entirety.
You got to watch it in the afternoon.
Afternoon's my nap time. I got to watch it like either after my nap or first thing in the morning.
I've got 2 envelopes here. Would you like to open one of them?
I would.
The contents of this envelope from David in Poland are in a protective wrap. I can see why. This is a homemade postcard.
Oh, wow.
How gray could it be? None more grayer. David says, please enjoy this homemade Brutalist postcard. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
And speaking of the Brutalist, I also thought it was based on an actual person. Why do you think that might be? Have we become used to true stories and biopics so much, or is there another reason? All the best. Brutally yours, David Manjour. There's a little guy on the back. I don't know if you can see that.
Nice.
Little smoking fella. I don't know. I just assumed that the movie was about brutalist architecture, and I thought it was about a famous brutalist architect.
This is from Lori Subert Lemire in Rhode Island. Dear Matt and esteemed guest, Tim and I just returned from a quick trip to New York City where we enjoyed, among other things, a small but powerful exhibit of works by Pierre Mondrian at the Guggenheim. Seeing so much wonderful art in NYC, between museums, galleries, and street art led me to think about the many biopics made about unusual artists. For example, Basquiat, 1996. Lust for Life, 1956. Pollock, 2000. Frida, 2002. The Agony and the Ecstasy, 1965.
I've seen almost all of those movies until we got to the last one. Now let me just see this. Okay, they went to a quick trip in New York City, and it's got paintings by Pierre Mondrian in a quick trip. I don't believe it. Haha, that's a joke. Favorite film about an artist? Lust for Life is pretty good.
It is.
I really wanted to like Vincent and Theo. I found it a little boring. Found it a lot boring.
Have you seen Destino, which was the collaboration between Salvador Dali and Walt Disney?
No.
It got shelved for decades, and Walt's nephew Roy brought it out of the archives in like 2000, 2001, and they finished it using Dali's drawings.
Wow.
Not really about an artist, but just one of the most mind-blowing pieces of animation I think I've ever seen in my life.
Sure, yeah. When you go to our website, welcometothebasementshow.com, you can see the episodes that we've made, and there are many of them. And there are also PayPal donation buttons that you can click on to make a one-time or rolling monthly donation to our show. We have some generous rolling monthly donors. They just keep on rolling along, and here are some of their names. Marybeth, Guy, Maurizio, Ian, Alfred, Michael, Bernard, JP, Shelby, RPC Services, Anna, Thomas, William, Jeff, Kai, Einar, Reed, Abraham, Amber, and Jerry. The rest of our donors later in the show. Right now, viewer questions. I got questions for Doug from you.
I got answers, I think, maybe, possibly.
Robert Soroka, who is your favorite Doug from a TV series or movie? I've been racking my brains ever since I wrote this. I can't think of any.
Okay, that makes you a hoser then, eh?
Yeah.
Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Point well taken. Maxwell Stewart James, favorite underrated movie soundtrack?
Galaxy Quest. It's David Newman. He does that wonderful pastiche of a sci-fi TV series. Bum, 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 bum. And that's on my, pick your ass up and do the dishes kind of self-motivation playlist.
Robert James Cole, if you were given crazy billionaire money to remake any movie at all, what movie would you remake?
Gus.
What is Gus?
It's a live-action Disney film that was sort of in that valley after Walt died, but before Michael Eisner started making good movies.
Yeah, it was a deep valley.
It was a valley that sort of exactly maps to my childhood. And I grew up in a religious household where we could only go to G movies.
Sure.
I saw Gus in the theaters. Gus is the story of a hapless NFL franchise who have a novelty halftime act with a mule who kicks field goals.
Oh, I know this movie.
It turns out there's nothing in the rule book that says a mule can't play football.
So he is drafted.
And then he's kidnapped by gamblers on the eve of the Super Bowl, and there's a wacky chase, and will he make it back in time? This film has Tim Conway, Don Knotts, this all-star cast. It is mirthless and awful and dreadful. For some reason, this film has been a lifelong fascination of mine. Yeah, if I had crazy billionaire money,
Do it right.
I would do the good version of Gus.
Sure. I would remake any of the beloved franchises from my childhood that became crappy movies. Transformers, G.I. Joe, but the one I would really most be interested in was Masters of the Universe. I would make a decent He-Man movie. I would make it cool with good action, and it can be funny to give it the Lord of the Rings treatment.
Okay.
I think that would be great.
Like what Greta Gerwig did with Barbie, would you do any sort of that kind of...
No, I wouldn't want to make it a meta story. I'd want to make it like, this is a world. This is a fantasy world.
Okay.
Where there's this guy, and he transforms into a muscle-bound
He-Man.
He-Man, yeah. Crow Little, what's a candy from your childhood that you think not many people have heard of?
Do you remember Hubba Bubba?
Oh, sure. Hubba Bubba. Bubblicious.
They still make Hubba Bubba?
I think so.
That's the one with the liquid center, right?
No.
Which was the one with the liquid center?
I don't know what that was called.
You know what I'm talking about.
It's called like
though.
Juicers or Gushers. No, Gushers is a different thing.
It was a pink square of bubble gum, but it had a liquid center.
Oh, yeah. Hubba Bubba might have had a variation of that, but I think there was another brand of gum that specialized in that.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you what it was called. I bet one of them knows, though.
Okay.
We'll find out. Put it in the comments.
Here we go.
Karen Fei, what do you think makes a movie scary?
Empathizing with the characters. Yeah, like Night of the Hunter we were talking about earlier. You really care for the kids.
Sure.
So you spend that whole movie like, on the edge of your seat.
You care for the kids in a way that you don't care for the mom.
Yeah.
Like you care about the mom, but you don't care as much about the mom. Once she gets mixed up with Harry Powell, she seems like kind of a lost cause.
Yeah.
But those kids have a chance.
Yes.
Carrie Matthias, what's the best made-for-TV movie that you've seen and that you think other people should look into?
Brian's Song.
That was made for TV?
That was made for TV.
Okay.
In the era I grew up in, the only time it was permissible for a straight guy to cry was during Brian's Song.
I always mix up that and Rudy. But I guess they're very different films.
They're very different films.
Both tearjerker football movies.
Yes.
Christopher Mott. Hello, Doug.
Hello, Christopher Mott.
What do you look for in foreign films?
Subtitles.
All right. Luke Cross. Have you read Peter Guralnick's biography of Elvis Presley? What did you think, if so?
It's a masterful piece of writing. It's depressing as hell. Elvis was a guy who sort of had these career highlights, but then just decline.
Yeah.
And nobody in his life to grab him and pull him back. The second volume is just the long, slow, meticulously documented
Day after day of just drugs.
And
tacky Vegas performances. Doug is now going to tell us the rest of our monthly donors.
Andrea, Robert, Eric, Benjamin, Catherine, Abigail, Nathan, Dave, Paradise Alive, Cassandra, Laura, Michael, James, Chris, Damien, Brett, Martin, and Jason.
We've got a big box to open and a little envelope. Let's get to opening them.
Oh.
I have found the note, but I'm not going to read it yet until I open this up. This is a record-shaped package.
Oh.
I haven't been listening to records lately. I got to get back into it. It's just a bunch of symbols, Doug.
What?
I don't know who this is. It's just symbols,
Just
Doug.
symbols? You have to decode it.
I can't read runes. Some of these words don't even make sense. Dwittelum. Oh, this is from the Netherlands. This is from Nathan Harvey. There's only ever been one other band that made me tear up. This album absolutely wrecked me. This band can't be described by any of the conventional labels. I hope you'll have time to listen to it in one sitting. What is it called? Oh, Sleep Token is the name of the band.
Sleep Token.
Take Me Back to Eden.
Okay.
Thanks, Nathan.
Some sort of garment?
I believe it is, yes. Probably a wig.
It is a wig. It is a colonial historical wig.
Okay, give me this. Someone out there just wants to see me put on wigs, and I am happy to oblige. I think this is going to make me look distinguished.
I dare say, Mr. Jefferson, this declaration of yours will anger King George.
Check it out. Look at me in my wig. Does it look like a wig? It looks like I'm just wearing a hat.
Yeah, it looks colonial wiggy.
This thing back here. Well, folks, I feel like a new person in this snazzy wig, and maybe I'll wear it while I listen to my Sleep Token album. What a bunch of prizes we've been given here in the basement today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
You are released.
Woohoo!